Welcome to the Pencil Bob channel. I hope you enjoy the story. Remember to like and subscribe. And now the story. Jack's life was a tale woven into the very fabric of the land his family had owned for over a century and a half. The farm, sprawling across a vast 1,000 acres, cradled his humble abode at the extreme right bottom side, near the property boundary and almost kissing the road. It was a living testament to generations past and the enduring spirit of those who toiled the soil. The house, with its time-worn charm, held stories in every creak of its floorboards, stories that transcended time. As the years marched on, a transformation swept through the once-secluded countryside. Neighbors, lured by the promise of wealth, sold their farms to developers. The landscape began to sprout housing subdivisions, altering the quiet ambience that Jack had known since birth. Yet, he remained steadfast in his connection to the land that had cradled his ancestors, and the familiar rhythms of farm life became a lullaby to his soul. One neighbor, however, Kevin, resided in close proximity, a mere 200 feet away. The sprawling developments hadn't dampened Kevin's sense of entitlement; if anything, they had amplified it. He viewed himself as the epitome of wealth, a self-appointed arbiter of taste and class. The community, in his eyes, should conform to his standards. The complaints began almost as soon as Kevin moved in, an unrelenting barrage that echoed through the serene countryside. It started with the timing of Jack's farm chores, as if the sun should rise and set at Kevin's command. The scent of the farm, a fragrant symphony of earth and life, was deemed an olfactory offense. The absence of adherence to HOA rules became a personal affront to Kevin's sensibilities. According to Kevin, Jack's house was an eyesore, a blemish on the pristine canvas of suburbia. His barn, standing proud with its history etched into the wood, was dismissed as an eyesore. The laughter of Jack's children, innocent and exuberant, was labeled as too loud, disrupting the suburban serenity that Kevin sought to impose. Even the hayfields, reminiscent of the traditional American farm, were condemned for not conforming to the manicured lawn standards dictated by the HOA. Jack, unyielding and proud, stood his ground. He refused to bow to the pressures of conformity, steadfastly asserting that he was not, and never would be, a member of the HOA. The relentless complaints triggered visits from the HOA, attempting to coerce him into compliance. Each time, Jack dismissed them with the cold reality that he was not subject to their rules. When they grew indignant, Jack, armed with conviction, uttered a choice: comply or face the consequences, be it the cold barrel of his shotgun or the legal battle he was prepared to wage. It didn't take long for Jack to deduce the true source of his woes: Kevin, the self-proclaimed king of the suburban castle. Jack, a man of few words and unyielding determination, decided it was time for payback. He crafted a small pen along the fence line, a mere 10 feet from Kevin's kingdom, and erected a shack that housed 10 pigs. The wind, most days, blew in the direction of Kevin's house, carrying with it the rustic aroma of the farm that Jack had known all his life. Seated on his porch, shotgun in hand, Jack observed the unfolding drama. His farmhands took charge of the daily chores while he, a vigilant guardian of his legacy, watched the pigs graze and root. The boinks and snorts became the symphony of sweet revenge. It took over 6 months, but the incessant assault on Jack's way of life bore fruit. Kevin, unable to endure the olfactory assault and the defiance of his expectations, sold his house at a loss and retreated from the battleground. A new neighbor, unburdened by entitlement, approached Jack, seeking a harmonious existence. Ever the reasonable man, Jack obliged. He relocated the pig pen far from the new neighbor's dwelling, ensuring the peace and tranquility that the countryside promised. The shackles of entitlement had been broken, and Jack's farm stood as a testament to the enduring spirit of those who refused to be dictated by the whims of progress and conformity. The pigs, now relocated, continued their blissful existence, oblivious to the chaos they had sown in the life of one entitled neighbor. And so, Jack's farm, with its weathered barns and sprawling fields, continued to tell stories to those who cared to listen, tales of resilience, defiance, and the enduring spirit of a man who refused to let progress trample the legacy of his forefathers. The echoes of laughter, now unrestrained, danced in the wind, a celebration of victory over conformity and a tribute to a way of life that refused to be tamed.
Within the charming embrace of Maplewood Hills, a suburban haven bathed in the soft glow of tranquility, an unsuspecting war waged beneath the veneer of perfection. The meticulously manicured lawns and charming houses that adorned the streets painted a facade of an idyllic life. Yet, for Dave Johnson, this seemingly peaceful neighborhood transformed into an unexpected battleground, and the orchestrator of the symphony of discord was none other than the formidable president of the Homeowners Association, HOA, Arnie Blackstone. As if the meticulously trimmed hedges and elegant facades concealed a clandestine drama, every interaction with Blackstone became a skirmish, and each perfectly placed flowerpot on the porch seemed to bear witness to the ongoing feud. In this quiet suburban oasis, a tale of neighborly strife unfolded, revealing the complexities beneath the veneer of Maplewood Hill's picturesque exterior. The seeds of trouble were innocuously sown in Dave Johnson's front yard, where blades of grass dared to defy the conformity Arnie Blackstone fervently championed. It all commenced with the innocuous arrival of Dave's initial HOA violation notice, a missive that cast a critical eye on the length of his grass. Arnie Blackstone, a man perpetually adorned with a scowl that seemed etched in stone, took it upon himself to uphold what he affectionately referred to as the standardized greenery quotient within the community. Little did Dave know that his once unassuming lawn would become the focal point of a battle against the relentless scrutiny of every blade that dared to grow a mere fraction longer than Arnie's exacting standards. As the neighborly skirmish escalated, each tuft of grass became a symbol of resistance against the authoritarian reign of the HOA president, transforming an initially simple violation into a protracted feud where every inch of foliage held the weight of neighborhood politics. Arnie was meticulous in his pursuit of perfection. He accused Dave of neglecting his lawn, of failing to water it enough, and even of cutting the grass in the wrong direction. The list of grievances seemed endless, and the fines kept rolling in. However, the pinnacle of absurdity arrived when Dave received a violation for having grass that was too green. In the labyrinthine landscape of HOA regulations, absurdity had found new peaks that even Dave Johnson, unwittingly drawn into the bureaucratic maze, couldn't fathom. With the meticulous dedication of a detective, Dave delved into the obscure depths of the community guidelines, only to unearth a revelation that bordered on the surreal. Hidden within the fine print was not just a demand for well-kept lawns, but an actual color value that the grass must adhere to. The absurdity reached its zenith as Dave, bewildered, realized that the guidelines failed to specify the acceptable grass types, leaving a glaring ambiguity. The unspoken decree, however, whispered through the neighborhood like an unwritten law, favoring only two specific varieties as the anointed ones worthy of gracing the meticulously curated lawns. In this bizarre horticultural dystopia, Dave found himself navigating a landscape where not just the length but the very hue of his grass became a battleground, and the once simple act of lawn maintenance transformed into a quixotic quest for compliance with the enigmatic standards set by the HOA. Frustrated and tired of the constant harassment, Dave decided he'd had enough. He enlisted the help of professionals and replaced his natural grass with high-quality artificial turf. The crew worked diligently under the watchful eye of Arnie Blackstone, who seemed to take perverse pleasure in scrutinizing every synthetic strand being laid down. 3 days after the artificial turf installation, a fine arrived at Dave's doorstep. Arnie had wasted no time in punishing him for having the wrong shade of green. The fine was not exorbitant, but it carried the threat of escalating into a daily financial burden until Dave complied with the HOA's peculiar demand. Fueled by an indignant rage ignited by the sheer absurdity of the situation, Dave embarked on a determined journey across the manicured lawns of Maplewood Hills, making a beeline for Arnie's immaculately kept residence. A confrontation was imminent, a clash between the forces of reason and the unyielding dictates of the Homeowners Association. As words were exchanged in a volatile symphony, tempers flared like embers dancing in the wind, and the once cordial conversation took a sharp detour into the realm of vulgarity. In the face of Arnie Blackstone's bureaucratic tyranny, Dave, undeterred, found himself ensnared in the throes of a verbal duel, a skirmish echoing through the pristine streets. However, in an unexpected twist, the relentless HOA president, ever the wielder of legal authority, decided he had endured enough of this rebellious dissent. Without a moment's hesitation, Arnie unfurled the banner of litigation, initiating a lawsuit against Dave, a judicial clash set to unravel the intricacies of neighborhood governance and accumulate the fines that had stealthily accrued over a month of defiance. Thus, what began as a simple dispute over grass length evolved into a legal battleground, where the manicured lawns of Maplewood Hills bore witness to a war waged not just on greenery but on the principles that governed suburban life. Confident in his belief that justice would prevail, Dave chose to represent himself in court. Little did he know that the legal system would prove to be as enigmatic as the HOA regulations themselves. The court upheld the HOA rule about the color but delivered a perplexing twist: it did not specify grass. Instead, the ruling stated that the front ground area of the house must be a certain color. Realizing he had a loophole to exploit, Dave demanded clarity from the HOA regarding the exact color or colors of green allowed. The judge, intrigued by the unfolding absurdity, compelled the HOA president to specify the precise shade required to avoid further litigation. Arnie Blackstone, with a smug expression, declared that only a natural green could meet the requirement. Seizing this opportunity, Dave grinned confidently as he watched the crew rip out the artificial turf. However, instead of despair, Dave's eyes twinkled with mischief. In an unexpected twist, Dave decided to take matters into his own hands. As the crew began laying gravel and rebar over the exposed dirt, concrete trucks arrived at the scene. Dave had devised a plan to defy Arnie and the HOA's absurd demands. With each pour of cement, artificial colors were added to create the exact shade of green that the HOA had specified. The once lush, green artificial turf was now being replaced by a concrete canvas, defiantly adhering to the community guidelines in the most unexpected way. As the concrete dried and transformed into a vibrant, artificial green, Dave stood back and admired his handiwork. The neighbors, initially confused by the spectacle, began to gather, exchanging amused glances and smirks. Arnie Blackstone, who had anticipated victory, now found himself at a loss for words. The war between Dave and the HOA had taken an unforeseen turn, leaving the neighborhood abuzz with gossip and speculation. The once perfectly manicured lawns seemed to pale in comparison to Dave's bold statement of rebellion. As the news of Dave's unconventional victory spread, other homeowners in Maplewood Hills began to question the absurdity of the HOA's rules. The concrete monolith in Dave's front yard became a symbol of resistance, inspiring a subtle revolution against the oppressive regulations. In the end, Dave Johnson may have lost the battle for a traditional lawn, but he emerged victorious in the war against the baffling world of HOA regulations. The vibrant, artificial green of his concrete masterpiece became a testament to the resilience of individuality in the face of conformity, turning Maplewood Hills into a neighborhood where the greenery was not just on the lawns, but also in the spirit of those who dared to defy the status quo.
I would like to thank you for watching the video to the end. To encourage us to make more videos, please like, subscribe, comment, as well as share. Check out this other video if you haven't already. I am looking for some feedback from our viewers. This question has been asked before and I will continue to ask until it gets sorted. Are the written words necessary or do you just prefer to have our animated character read the story? Some have said yes, I want the words, others do not care either way. So let us know in the comments, as I am always looking towards making better videos for all of you out there. Have a great day. I would like to thank you for watching the video to the end. To encourage us to make more videos, please like, subscribe, comment, as well as share. Check out this other video if you haven't already.